Hey everybody, it's Dana and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 top essentials that I have in my craft room to make sure I have good watercoloring. Paper, brushes, paints, everything I need to make my watercoloring happy. So let's get started. Let's start with paper. I like hot press fluid paper. I like to take this on the go with me when I want just a soft paper with no texture to it. That is what hot press watercolor paper it is. It does not have any texture. Next, I like the Artistico by Fabriano. This is 100% cotton and this is cold pressed. So I'm going to have a lot of texture with this paper, but it's also on a block format. So it's very easy for me to travel with. The paper I keep in my room is Strathmore watercolor paper. A lot of the times I'll practice on this. This is also cold pressed paper, so I'm going to have some texture. But as you can see, it's a 9 by 12 sheet of paper. I can cut this down to any size that I need. And I would do easy watercoloring on this paper. Now, my favorite, but it's the most expensive, is my Arches watercolor paper. This is 140 pounds. This is cold pressed paper, but I will tell you this is a more expensive paper. This is also 100% pure cotton, which I love when I'm watercoloring, and it is a pretty thick paper. Now, I don't use this paper a lot. If I'm just practicing, I have a tendency to use that Strathmore because this one, like I said, is pretty pricey. But find the paper that you love and go with it. The only thing I can say is make sure it's quality paper. Now, on to the next thing is brushes. Now, you can start with very inexpensive brushes. These are the ones from Michaels. These are the I think this is Majestic ones from Michael. I'll put all the links below. I use round brushes, and these are ones that I like to just play around with, keep in my craft room if I'm just swatching out things. I also like for traveling, and are these little Escada ones. They're perfect for traveling. What is so cool about this? They look like little bullets, but when you pull them out of that cute little case, there's a paintbrush in there. So all you have to do is flip the cap onto the bottom, and now you have a full length paintbrush. These are my go-to when I'm traveling because sometimes I don't want to carry larger paintbrushes. So this just tucks right into my go bag and I'm off and coloring on the plane. Now, if you want to get high quality brushes, these are the ones I use. These are black velvet brushes. This is made of squirrel hair. And I would tell you these are my favorite brushes. Now they are expensive, I will say that, but you can usually catch them on a good sale. I also love this large brush. As you can tell, I use a lot of round tip brushes for my watercoloring. And again, I'll make sure to link everything in the description box below. If you're traveling and you just want water and brushes on a go, I like the Arteza ones as well as just one of the inexpensive ones that I can pick up at a local craft store. These already have a area where I can put water into and they're ready to go. I don't have to worry about having a collapsible water bin or anything with me. I also keep a rag with me. As you can tell, this is greatly used with all that color on there, but it allows me to be able to swipe off the color on my paintbrush before I move to my next color. So you can have a rag like this or paper towels with you. Just make sure you have something handy to clean off your brushes. Next, we're going to talk about paints, and there's a variety of paints on the market. I'm just going to show you a few of them that I have. I've picked up this one over here on the left-hand side from Amazon. The one in the middle I picked up from BLICK Art, and the one in the black case is my Daniel Smith. And you'll see here I also have liquid watercolors from PH Martin. So this one right here that I picked up, it's called Pretty Excellent Watercolors. They are beautiful watercolors. They also have with a little watercolor brush and a little area for you to have a palette area. This one here, I have fallen in love with. It is the Talens watercolors. Now, these are a little bit, to me, more chalky based, but they are extremely vibrant. And I'll show you why in just a second. But I love these, and I think these were about 20 something dollars. Next, I am part of a group purchase of Daniel Smith watercolors. Now, Daniel Smith's watercolors can be very expensive if you're trying to buy them all on your own. In this group, I'm able to sample some of the colors without committing to buying full tubes or half tubes. So I love this palette, but this palette does not leave my house very often because TSA stopped me once about these, and I'll never let them get their hands on them again. And lastly, here are some PH Martin Hydrus watercolors. I don't use these very often, but when I do, they're very vibrant colors, and they're easy to just put little droplets down to start your watercoloring. The biggest thing I would say is swatch out your colors. Otherwise, you're never going to know what your palette looks like. Every time you look in a palette, it might be different. Now, this one here is on the Italian ones, the one right in the middle. And I was able to mix this palette and get all these colors, you guys. That's what's so phenomenal about this cute little palette here. You have what I think 12 colors, and I was able to make all of those colors. In the Pretty Excellent one, you get a little chart that you can swatch out your colors and tuck that right into the top of that lid when you're traveling. Now, I will say, if you don't want to do this, I, back in the day, had a ring full of every single watercolor I owned. And trust and believe there's more than this. But I like the fact that I can go to this ring, grab out some colors, see what matched. I can do cross branding on these. It was my go-to color ring per se of all my watercolors. I am switching this up a little bit, but this is easy for me to take on the run and just throw into my bag. I am changing this over to a different method. I'm going to be using these 2x2 little coin holders. I will share how I put this together in another video soon, but this is the way I'm going to move my color palette. So all of my reds are together, yellows are together, and so on. But I'll make sure to show you how I put this together in a future video coming soon. All I can say is make sure you swatch out your palettes. Also, make sure you get a watercolor kit that has a nice well in it so you can mix things up on the go. On my desk, I just use a large plate. This happens to be something I'm working on right now, and that's the Payne's Gray on there. But this little dinner plate, literally a dinner plate, gives me a huge area to mix colors. But obviously, I can't travel with that. So just make sure when you put your palettes together that you have room to mix your products. All right, next is very important. I use two boards, masking tape, micropore tape, or purple tape to hold down my paper as I'm watercoloring. This is essential for me. I tape it all down on all four corners, and this keeps my paper from buckling. If you don't tape your paper down, it will definitely warp when you're watercoloring. I like to also use this larger one for bigger items because I'm able to spin it, pick it up and spin it. This little clipboard I keep in my to-go bag. This is fantastic when I need to watercolor and tape down my paper. This right here is an essential thing that you must have with watercoloring in order not to get all of that warping in your paper. Now, the last thing I want to say to you guys is relax when you watercolor. Don't let it become too stressful. It's called patience and practice. Anytime you're working with any medium, be gentle with yourself. We're all not pros right out the back. If you don't want to jump into watercoloring something, the quickest way I do things is to just start color swatching. I will take a palette and I would just start color swatching it just to see the amount of colors I can get. Now, this is out of that Pretty Excellent set from Amazon, and I was able to just take the warm colors and have all these colors. So don't ever be intimidated by watercoloring. It's a passion of mine that I really, really love these days, but I'm never too hard on myself. A lot of the times, I'll just grab out some ink or some watercolor and just do gradient swatches just so I can see how the water and the paint work together. If you don't want to jump into watercoloring, the first thing I suggest is to just do your swatches. That will get you prepared to go into that step of watercoloring. All right, everybody, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, share, and comment, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.